In this video, I'm going to show you a complete tutorial on how to create a professional, good-looking and effective contact form using Elementor Pro. You will be able to use this kind of form to collect quote requests, job applications and many other kind of data from your website's visitors. So let's go and have a quick look at the form that we're going to create together. In this case, it's going to be a multi-step form, very nice and pleasant to fill. Okay, we're ready to go to the next step. We can type here the message. And then we can go on the next step and we will have, for example, here a CV upload field. Of course, you can use this to make your users upload any kind of file. Then we can go on the next step and we will have a multiple choice. I will show you here how you can set up different kind of multiple choices, which are very, very useful in many different scenarios. And then if I want to complete my form, I will need to click on the privacy policy checkbox, of course. Let's go and click on send. And we will have now a beautiful thank you page. Of course, you will be able to customize completely this page using just Elementor. Then we will see how to set up a custom notification like this one with all the data that has been filled by the user, including also the file that has been uploaded. And at the end of the tutorial, we're also going to see how to synchronize the data with your favorite email marketing platform. In my case, I'm going to use MailerLite. And of course, you will be able to do the same with any other kind of email marketing platform. My name is Pascal and I'm the creator of WP Roads, a YouTube channel and website where I share with you my passion and knowledge about WordPress. So if you like this kind of videos, make sure to give me a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. I will leave you all the links and resources in the description box down below so that you can benefit from them while you're watching the video. If you want to support me, you can also use my affiliate links to make some upgrades. For example, if you want to upgrade to Elementor Pro, Advanced Solo or higher licenses, you can do it by using my affiliate link down below. And you also have the link to my favorite WordPress tools, which is for me kind of an affiliate marketing shop page that you can use before buying if you want to support my channel. And of course, on my wproads.com website, you will see all my tutorials, all my dedicated free resources, my plugin reviews, and many other interesting stuff if you work with WordPress daily. Thanks to Kinsta for sponsoring this video. Kinsta is among the most powerful and secure WordPress hosting providers worldwide. When you choose Kinsta, you will be sure to have lightning fast loading times anywhere in the world, because Kinsta is using Google Cloud's fastest servers. You also got powerful features like edge caching, built-in image optimization, and many other features. Kinsta also offers a very high-level security system. You got DDoS protection, free malware removal, security vulnerability alerts, multiple backup options, and flexible user access management to your hosting panel. Speaking of the hosting panel, I really love the Kinsta dashboard. It is intuitive, easy to use, and very powerful. Each task becomes easy to perform and effective when you use such a beautiful user interface. And then, of course, there is a great support team, easily accessible via chat, available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and all year long. I've used their support chat a few times, and I can say that they are really kind, they know how to listen, and most of all, they resolve any problem very fast. So, if you want a top-level premium service for your WordPress projects, don't hesitate and choose Kinsta. And at the moment, there is also a promotion so that you can start risk-free with $0 investment. You can just test Kinsta for a month and see if it meets your needs. I will leave you the Kinsta link down in the comment section and in the description box. If you have any question during the video, please feel free to drop me a line down in the comment section below. If you want, as always, I provide you the timestamps down below so that you can easily jump to the parts of the video that you're most interested in. And now, let's get started. This is going to be a new page. Let's call it Awesome Contact Form. And then let's click on Edit with Elementor. Okay, in this case, this page is going to be also a canvas. Oh, of course, it didn't save my title. So I go here in the page settings and I select here Elementor Canvas so that I can work, yes, in a more clean way. You, of course, you're going to place this form in the page that you want on your website or on your client's websites. Let's go here. We will add a container and I will just add a few pixels of padding. I'm using some custom classes. By the way, if you didn't watch my 2025 Elementor Pro tutorial, I would suggest you to go and watch it because I explained to you in this tutorial how to create a complete website, a professional one, starting by scratch using Elementor Pro. So go and watch it. Now we can go on and add our form. So we type form and we drag and drop the form here. Okay, so I will change the name here. As you can see, I will call this contact form. Okay, maybe let's say that this is the form that I will use on my main contact form page. I will call it like this. And this is a name that you can use for internal purpose. Yes, just to keep things organized. So we'll use this name right here and we will just remove all the fields because we're going to learn how to use them step by step. So this is our final result. And to achieve this, we're going to proceed step by step. So I'm going to show you here what happens when you open a field. This is the field constructor where you can add all the form fields to your form. And the first one is normally the name field, as you can see here. And this is a simple text field. And as you can see, you got a lot of different kind of fields. We're going to cover most of them together. And let's say that we want to collect now name and last name. So we go in text, we can change the label here, and we can call it, for example, first name. Okay, we can also change the placeholder that's going to be displayed here inside the field, as you can see. And if you want, after, you can decide if you want to show or not the labels above the input field. In this case, we're just starting by leaving them active, and then we're going to see how you can configure this. As you can see, you can also make this field as required. We're going to do this at the end of the video. We're going to choose which fields is going to be required. And then we can also choose the layout of the input field. In this case, for example, if you put it 50%, as you can see here, it immediately updates in the form. And it is quite interesting because you can go and duplicate it. And the second field is going to be aligned to the right, you see, so we are just getting closer to the design that we want to achieve. So in this case, the second field is going to be the last name. Okay, and I'm going to copy this also into my placeholder. And if you see, we have two tabs here. The first one is the content, and the second one is the advanced tab. And in the advanced tab, you got the ID of the field, and then you got also the default value. In some cases, you're gonna benefit of this default value because you can fill it dynamically. And so maybe in some different scenarios, you have some dynamic data that you need to pull inside this field, and you can do it by choosing which user info, for example, you want to insert here right there. This is useful if you have a membership website or a community website and you're trying to collect some data from your already subscribed users, for example. Or there can be many different ways and scenarios that you can apply this default value to. Now let's change the ID and let's use the same structure. So this is going to be the last name. You cannot use spaces, you can just use underscores and special, and yeah, you see this kind of characters. And let's also call the first ID the same. So we go here, we go to the advanced tab, and we go and place it on first name. Okay, first name, perfect. And this is the shortcode that you can use to output this value in the email notifications, for example. But we're going to see this at the end of the video, of course. Now let's go on by adding a few more fields. Let's say that we want the email field, which is pretty important. The email is going to be, yes, the main field, because it is the field that you can use if you want to contact back the user that has filled the form, of course. So we can change here to your email. Okay, we can go here and use a placeholder, and here we can use an ID called email. Yes. Okay, so this is going to be the email field, and this one, let's place it immediately as a required one, or yeah, you can use it as a required, or if you want to test your form quickly, you can just leave it disabled. And as I was telling you before, we can also enable all the required fields at the end of the video. This is a suggestion that I made to you. Okay, let's place this at 50%, and let's conclude this first section of our form using a simple, let's say a simple, what did we have here? Telephone number field. Yeah, your phone number. So we go here, we use tel. Okay, your phone number. We use it as a placeholder, and we change the column width to 50%. Okay, advanced tab, phone. Okay, then we have first name, last name, your email, your phone number. That's perfect. So this is going to be the first step, but since it is quite clunky and difficult to create them step by step immediately, I would suggest you now to insert all the other fields, and then we're going to do the step separation at the end of the form construction. So let's add also the text area now, which is the second step, this one. And let's go by clicking here on text area, perfect. And let's place a label, your message. Or you can use this as a field where the user maybe is a motivational job application, for example, or any kind of content you can just select it here. We'll also can increase the number of rows that the form will have. Of course, the user can always go and modify this by hand, but it is quite interesting the fact that you can have a default height of this field. Let's say 7, okay, so that there is space, of course. Then we go here into the advanced tab and we change this to message, okay. Perfect. It is always a good practice to keep your IDs tidy up and with a speaking name, of course. Then we go back to the contact form and we see that we have a CV upload, or you can use this field to make your users upload any kind of file, of course. And I will show you how to configure this right now. So we go into the file upload. Okay. And then we change here the label to file CV, for example. Okay, your CV, or just your CV is better. Okay, then we go here to the send files. This is pretty important, and I'll show you here how this works. So here, basically, you can choose if you want to receive an email with the link of the file that the user just submitted. You can also choose an email with the attachment directly into the email, so the file will be attached to the email, or you can choose to receive both. In the first case, in fact, the file will not be attached to the email, but it will be stored on your website server. So this is quite good if you want to have a backup of your file on your website. If you prefer, you can just have the attachment. This means that the file won't be saved into your website, but it will be just sent as an email attachment, or you can choose both. We will select now both so that you can see how this works when we will test the form at the end of the video. Down here, we can also change the maximum file size. That is quite interesting if you want to limit the size of the file that users are going to be uploading. And generally speaking, if this is a curriculum, CV, for example, 5 megabytes, it's quite a good solution, or maybe 10 megabytes, but I would not go over 10 megabytes. In fact, I will just say 5 megabytes would be the maximum. We can also choose here to filter the file types, and I will suggest you here, for example, if you are receiving CVs, PDF, and yeah, it's the current one, or you can also add, for example, PNG if someone wants to upload, yeah, a PNG file, of course. As you can see here, you can just type comma and insert all the different file extensions that you want to be allowed. And it is also good practice to describe this into the field. So I will show you here now how you can add an extra field called HTML field to describe what's allowed here in this file. Then we can also allow multiple files. We can choose how many of them. For example, that if we want to allow the user to upload a photo and a CV, we can allow maximum files number 2, and so on. And then we can choose the column width. Let's say default. Okay. Yes, it is 100%. In this case, if we want to allow multiple files, just one file is going to be one CV. And if you want to add a description here, you can either do it here in your label, but if you want to hide your label later on during the creation of your field, you can also add an extra layer of description using the HTML field. Let's go and do it. Add item. Here we select the HTML field. And we're going to give this field a specific label. It's going to be the CV. Let's keep your CV field header. Okay, or a field description. Even better. And here we can use a simple description. For example, please. You see? So I insert a description here. Please upload just one PDF or PNG file, maximum size 5 megabytes. So you can place this above or below. If you place it above, it's going to appear like this. Below, actually it works well if you place it below like this. If you want, you can use some custom HTML here. So for example, if you use the B, you can make something strong, bold, like this. If you want, you can insert some links or whatever you want in this kind of fields. You see here, I've just made this bold. And let's go on now and we will see what else we can do. So this is going to be the third step. And then in the last step, we're going to use the radio button selector and an acceptance for the privacy policy. Let's go and see how this works. So we will add another item, and in this case we can choose between different fields. We have the radio, the select, and the checkbox. If we want the user to be able to select different options, if you use the radio, the user will be able to select only one option. If you use the selector, even the same. But you can also allow multiple selection in this case. And if you want, you can use the checkbox. And the checkbox, of course, will allow multiple selections out of the box. Let me show you how this works. First, as you can see here, you can place one choice per row like this. You can also go and change the field ID here. Okay. And then we can also go and give it a label, of course. So choose your preferences. Okay, now we can also go and if you want, you can also use the inline list. You can see is changing just the layout of the choices. And then we can also go and change the column width as always. But in this case, we'll just leave it like this. And then I will show you here now what happens if you want to switch to different elements. If you go and choose the select, for example, we will have a drop down like this, where the choices will be displayed like this. If you want, you can also allow the user to have a multiple selection, even if this is just a drop down. And you can also choose to preview a different number of rows here. You can just choose this very easily. And you can also easily change the column width if you need to do so. Let's keep it default, okay? And let's keep this like this. We go and see also that we have the radio buttons, which in this case is just going to let the user choose one option. And you can also choose here to display this inline. So choose the kind of settings that you prefer here, and then let's go on and continue to the next steps. We will add now a checkbox acceptance field. So let's go and choose the acceptance, and we will use this label as GDPR acceptance, for example. I will write down here, I accept the privacy policy, for example. If you want, you can add a link using basic HTML, and the link can be created like this, href equal opening and closing, and then here you insert the URL of your privacy policy, for example, page, https:// in my case, wproads.com/privacy. Okay, then you have to close the link by using this writing right here. Okay, this is the structure of a basic link, but I would suggest you also to add a very important setting here, which is the target blank. This setting is going to make this link open into a new tab of the browser, avoiding the users to lose the page in which they are filling the form, of course. So we use target equal, and we choose _blank like this. Okay, so this is the final structure of our link. And as you can see here, the link is appearing perfectly here into the form. Wow, beautiful. Okay, now we can choose all the other settings. In the advanced tab, we're just going to call this GDPR, for example. And we have all the fields that we need in this tutorial. But we will see also how you can avoid to receive spam here by enabling two different kind of settings. The first one will just be a simple honeypot. And this honeypot, it is a silent field, an invisible field that will just prevent spam bots to fill the form. It is quite lightweight, but it can work and it can prevent many different kind of spam. If you want to have even a more powerful spam protector, you can enable later on reCAPTCHA version 3, and I'll show you how to do so. Let's go here into the label and call this spam filter. Okay, and then we're going to add now the last filter, which is going to be the reCAPTCHA version 3. To enable this field, you just need to go to the Elementor settings. We just save now our form and we go to the settings. Okay. We go to the integrations and we see that we have the reCAPTCHA version 3 integrations. We need a secret key, a side key, a secret key, and a score threshold. Let's go and open this field. Okay, and let's get started. The label is going to be the simple URL of my website. In this case, I'm going to use the URL of the tutorial website that I'm using. Okay, then I'm going down here, reCAPTCHA type, I'm going to use the v3. Then I'm going to choose the domains where I'm going to display this. And this says that your registration is restricted to the domains you enter here, plus any subdomains. In my case, I'm just going to use this reCAPTCHA key on this domain. So I will put it like this. Perfect. The Google Cloud Platform. Yes, I will just... Okay, we'll just create a Google Cloud Platform. My project, we call this... I will just call WP Roads Tutorials. Okay. And then I agree to the Google Cloud Platform Terms of Service. Let's go and submit. Okay. So here we will have the site key and the secret key. As you can see, it's very easy and simple to set up. Let's copy the site key and put it here. And let's copy the secret key and put it here. Then we scroll down the page, we save changes. We can go back now to the form. This is the page, awesome contact form page. By the way, if you want to use that command bar shortcut is by typing Command E or Control E on the keyboard. And then here we can also enable this reCAPTCHA field. Okay, we open the settings of our form, we scroll down to the reCAPTCHA. Okay, this is selected, perfect. And as you can see here, now we have the badge here that says that this form is protected by reCAPTCHA. Okay, we can choose the positioning, in line, bottom left or bottom right. If you choose to put this in line, you will see it inside the form, or if you choose, you can also leave it bottom right like this. Perfect. We can change the label. Okay, and that's it. So we have a double spam filter. We have the reCAPTCHA and the spam filter Honeypot. Let's go and publish the form and have a quick preview. Now we have all our fields in place, and as you can see, this is quite a complex and advanced form. Before going to work on the layout and on the multi-step, I'm going just to show you quickly all the other fields that you have here. You have the URL if you want to collect the website of your visitors, but this is kind of a tricky field because it will require the user to upload the URL of the website using also the HTTPS in front of the URL. So if you want to collect a website, you can also easily use the text field if you prefer. It is going to be more flexible. Then we have the telephone that we saw together how it works. Then we have the number field that we can use to collect any kind of number, different from the telephone, of course. Then we have the date and time fields, if we need for any reason to collect these values from the users. Then we have the password field, we have the HTML field, we saw how this works, and then we have the hidden field. This is pretty interesting because we can use this field if we want to collect some dynamic data silently and on the background, in the background. We go to the advanced tab and we see that we can use, for example, the default value to populate this field using dynamic data. Post time, post terms, post ID, for example, or archive description, or anything regarding the site, for example, or anything regarding the author of the page that you are in, or the user info, for example, or any other different query or parameter or any other content that you are retrieving dynamically on your website. I'm going to show you how this works by giving you a simple example. We're going to call this label, for example, post title. And then we're going to the advanced tab and we're going to link here the post title. And this is going to populate dynamically the post title of the page in which the form is contained. So this is just a simple example to show you how this is going to work. So we'll call this post title. And we can save our form. As you can see, this field here, it is not going to appear in the front end. So now the first thing that we can do if we want to start to work on the layout of this form to transform it into a modern and good looking form like this one, we'll just need to go and choose to hide the labels, for example. As you can see here, the labels are hidden and we're just using placeholders to describe all the different inputs. Let's go and do so. So we can go and hide the labels. Okay, if you leave the labels, you can also decide to show the required mark. So since this is going to not be possible using the placeholders, if you want, you can add the required mark inside the placeholder. For example, here you go on placeholder. If the first name is required, you can add here manually a required mark like this. And as you can see here, it's going to appear into your form. So let's do it for all the other fields. So in this case, I'm just not going to make them required yet. But if I know already the fields that I want to make required, I'm just going to add now a required mark like this. Let's go and do it. So now I've added all the required mark to the different fields. But since we are hiding the labels for the upload files and for the choices here and for the acceptance, we need to display the fields here more clearly. For example, using an HTML, a custom HTML, to introduce the choices here and to introduce also the file upload, exactly as we see here into our form. You see that we have a title here with a custom writing, and we also have the same here to the choices, even if all the other fields has no labels, you see? So to do so, it is pretty easy. You just need to use HTML. So add item, we go and select the HTML field here. Okay. And then we're going to place this, we're going to call it with a label, and this label is going to be file upload description. Okay. File upload description. We're going to use custom HTML here, which is going to be just a description about the file upload. So we go and place this before the CV upload. It's going to be here. Let's open and let's insert some content. Okay, in this case, we will just write down with an H5. And I'm going to write here. You see here, H5 is a little bit too much. Let's see if H6 is going to work better. Yes, but in this case, maybe just using a paragraph with the B is going to work fine. Okay. Very easy. You see, I've just insert like this and I have my title here. Upload your CV. Beautiful. It works fine. Now I can go down and I can also insert a paragraph if I want, or just another, or I can use a BR, in fact, BR to break the line, and I can write down here something else. For example, but in this case, I do not need many, you see, but I just wanted to show you that you can add more description content like this, you see, just by using a simple BR before the element. In this case, I will leave it like this. I will just add a title, and I'm going to copy this and use the same structure also to have an introduction for my choices. So I will go here and duplicate, and I will place this before you choose your preferences. Okay. In this case, is going to be the choices description. Okay. And we're going to change the title here to choose your preferences. And I'm also going to use the required mark. Perfect. If you want now to change the distance between the fields, you can do it by going to the Style tab. So let's go and make some styling changes. We can go here and change the column gap, for example, which is going to change the gaps between columns. And let's leave it to 15. Okay. And we can also change the rows gap. Let's say we want to increase this to 15 too, and it's going to work fine. We can also change the label spacing, but since we are not using labels, this is not going to work. And we can also change the spacing of the HTML fields. In this case, I will suggest you to leave it to 0. Okay, we can change now the fields if you want, for example, the text color, the typography, the background color, and so on, of the different fields, the border width, and so on. We can also change the buttons, and so on. In this case, we'll leave it like this for now, and we just have a quick preview to see how our form is looking, and it looks very well, very good. Now we are going to separate all these different fields in different steps. Since this form can be a little bit intimidating all together, we're going to separate all the different sections of the form in different steps, so that we're going to obtain a multi-step form exactly like this one, which looks beautiful. Let's go and do it together. We're going to include just the name, last name, email, and phone number in the first step. So we duplicate the last one, the phone number in this case, and we change the value of this duplicated field to be a step. So we switch here to step, which is the last one here. Okay. And as you can see here, the form is going to be, transformed like this. So now we can call this step 1, or just your data, for example. But in my case, I will call this step 1. Okay. Oh, sorry. This is going to be actually the step 2. Okay. So this is going to be the step number 1. You see that this has appeared now that I have created the multi-step form. So let's call it step 1. Okay. We can change the previous and next button, but I will show this later on. And we can add all the other steps. So let's duplicate the number 2, and let's Yeah, just drag and drop the step number 2 where we want to cut the second section. Let's say that we want to cut it after the message. Okay, let's duplicate it now. And let's go and cut now the last step, which is going to be the choice description. Okay, let's rename the steps. This is going to be number 3, and then we have the number 4. Okay, let's go here to the number 4. Okay. There's going to be a little bit of slowdown, but then when your form is okay, it's going to let you work like this. So this is the reason why I told you not to made your form fields mandatory, because like this you can test how your form it will look. Okay, actually it is working fine. We have the number 1. Actually, this is working fine. We have the step number 1. We have the step number 2, perfect. We have the number 3, perfect, with our CV. And then the number 4. Okay, we just need to change now the styling of all the steps to make them stand out a little bit more. And if you want, we can also get rid of the description of the step, and we can use icons instead of numbers. Let's see how to do so. We just select the form, we go to the steps section down here, and you see that we have the steps settings. Here you can choose how you want to display steps. You can choose none, and if you do like this and you publish, you will see that it's going to look like type form. It's going to look very modern and clean, but it's going to be a little bit, yeah, I think it's going to miss a little bit of a user experience indication that there are many steps. So let's add them. Let's add an indicator. You can choose as an indicator a simple text if you want to, or you can choose an icon, which is what we are going to do together. You can choose also just a number or a progress bar, which is going to be quite interesting also. You can also choose the number and text, or you can choose the icon and text. In my case, I will choose just the simple icons. Okay, and I'm going to go to the style tab now to style these icons differently. So you see that we have the steps field, which has appeared down at the end of the style tab, and we can change the spacing, we can change the icon size and many other parts of the design. Let's make them stand out a little bit more. Let's also change the spacing here from the form, make it a little bit more spacious, and let's also increase the padding. Okay, let's do 40. Okay, we're going to change the inactive, active, and completed settings. In the inactive, we're going to use a different color. Let's say that we want a primary color to be our accent one, and we're going to use as a secondary color white color. Okay, let's go now and modify the active, which is the color that they're going to get when they are being active and actively selected. We can choose this one, and we can change the background to be, for example, like this, so that it is quite clear that this is active right now. Okay, and when it is completed, we're going to change this to be like this, secondary color like this and like this. Let's publish now and go and have a preview of our form. Okay, and let's see what happens. You see, this is the selected one and these are the others. Okay, once it is completed, it's going to show like this. And I think it is quite clear. Yes, we can leave it like this. And as you can see here, the colors, there is a bug because the colors here are inverted. You see, in the active one, it says that it is the icon is yellow and the background is blue. And in the completed one, it makes the, yeah, it just mix up the colors. And if you want, you can switch them because it is switched, actually, you see, because when I completed, is going to switch the color. Even if here I told him, I told the form to use the same exact colors, it has inverted them. But I like it, so I will leave it like this in my case. We can change also the divider width here. Yeah, and unfortunately, I cannot change the color of the divider. If I want to do so, I have to use some custom CSS, and I can also increase the divider or decrease the divider gap. Let's make it like this. We can also change the icons border. Just go into the content tab, scroll down to the step settings, and we can go and change the shape to rounded. I like this one, actually. And then I can also change the different icons directly from the form fields. I can change the first one, for example, by going to the first step, and I can change it to be, I select all icons, and I go here to select the user. I can say, for example, this one. Okay, then I'm going to go and modify the second one, which is going to be the message. Step number 2, icon, all icons. And I will use a pencil or this one, for example. Let's say a pencil. Okay, then we will have the step number 3. Let's change the icon. We'll use this one. And then we have the last step. And we will choose just a simple check mark. This one, or even this one. Okay, looks good to me. I publish and I go and have a quick preview of my form. It is already looking very nice. You see, it comes along with a beautiful design. And now I'm just going to change the form fields, height and dimensioning to make it look a little bit more consistent like this. And I'm going to stretch the width. So let's go and do so. I'm going to select the main container. And I'm going to say that I want this container to be maximum width of 720 pixels. Looks good to me. Let's see. Beautiful. And I'm going to increase now the fields dimensions. So I go to my form, I select the content tab, and then I scroll down until I find the input size, and I will go and choose large. Okay. I will do the same now for the buttons. So I will go and select my button and choose large. Perfect. Now, if I want, I can also increase the size of the typography by going to the Style tab and then changing the typography here of the label, but we are not using labels, of the HTML field if I'm using them, and then of the field most of all. In this case, I will just change the typography here to be my small titles, which are bigger, and I'm going to change also the typography of my buttons to be a little bit more big. So let's say as title. Okay. This looks very nice. Let's go and publish. Let's have a quick preview of our form now. It looks beautiful. We click on next. We see all the different fields now have the same design. Wow, beautiful. Wow, great. And then we can send the form submission. As you can see here, since we made none of the fields to be required, we can submit the form without having to fill the form. This is great for testing purposes, of course. So now that we are ready to test in a real life example this form, we should choose which fields should be required. So let's go and do so. We select the form and we go to the Content tab. It is going to slow down a little bit in some servers because the form now has many fields. And I really hope that Elementor is going to update the form builder because it is very powerful, but it is a little bit slow sometimes. Okay, let's select the first one and let's make it required. Okay, and let's do same for all the other fields that we want to collect in a required way. The email is the most important one, of course. And then let's go on with all the others. Okay, now I've made all my fields required. And if I go back to my form and I try to test it, I see that there is a message that says, please fill out this field. Each time there is a required field, I will see that I need to fill it out. Let's go and see how this is going to work. So perfect. Now, before making the first test, we go and make sure to have our form here with a simple action after submit. So we close here the form fields, we go to the actions after submit, and we make sure to have the collect submissions. In this case, if you're using a simple essential license of Elementor Pro, you won't have this, and you won't have the connection with the mail marketing platforms like, for example, ActiveCampaign, ConvertKit, MailChimp, MailerLite, GetResponse, and so on. So make sure to have your Elementor Pro license onto the Advanced Solo or higher licenses, and then we can go and apply the collect submissions. This is pretty interesting because you will be able to receive the submissions of the form directly into your website, and you will find them inside the submissions here. And this is pretty interesting. If you want to support my work, you can use my affiliate link to make the upgrade if you need to do so. And you can go and upgrade your license to the Advanced Solo or higher licenses by using my affiliate link provided below. You can go here and buy now and then upgrade. So now let's see how this collect submissions will work. And this is pretty cool to test the form and see if all the fields are working fine and if all the data are working fine. So let's, for now, disable the email, and we will see after how you can also enable the email notification that you will receive when someone fills the form. And we will also see later how to connect this form to MailerLite in our example. And then we will also add a redirect to a custom thank you page. But before doing so, let's go and make the first test of our form. So now we are ready to make the first test and see if we are collecting right all the data. Okay, let's go to the next step. Okay. Let's go to the next step. By the way, you can also change the next and previous labels if you want. We can upload a file here. Perfect. We go to the next tab now, and we choose first choice, second choice, or a third choice. And then we had to accept the privacy policy. And if we click here on the link, we'll see that the privacy policy is going to open up into a new tab. Perfect. Let's go now and click on send, and let's see if the form will work. Yes, it works fine. Your submission was successful. And let's see now in the back end if we have collected correctly all the data. We go into the Elementor submissions, and we see that there is the email of the customer, of the user. We have the main contact form. We do not have any other actions, so the action status is not displaying here. And if we click here, we see that we have all the different data. We have the steps, step 1, step 2, step 3, and so on. Perfect. And then we have the different elements. We have the first name, last name, the email, the phone number, the message, the CV file, which is awesome. You see here, we can download the file directly here by clicking on the URL. Then I have my choices here. This is the third one selected. Perfect. I have the GDPR acceptance, and then I have my dynamic hidden field. You see this field in this case is just pulling out the title of the page where the form is contained, but you can use this for many different advanced scenarios where you want the dynamic data to be collected in your form. You can even go and edit this form manually if you need to do so, and then you can see that here we have some other information, very interesting and sometimes very useful and helpful. Okay, so this is our form submissions. Let's see now how to make this form more professional and complex and advanced by using some more actions after submit. We will see now how to add an email. If you want, you can use 2 emails. The first one, for example, you can send it to the website administrator, and the second one you can send it to the user that has just filled the form as a simple recap. And this is quite interesting. So let's add the first one. And when you learn how to set up this one, you will be also able to set up the number 2 if you want. Then we can also have a redirect to a custom thank you page. Let's say that we have a thank you page like the one that I have created here, which is this one. Okay. And I'm just going to copy this page URL and to paste it down here into the redirect. You see here I have enabled the redirect, and so I have the field here that is appearing, and I have pasted here the URL of my thank you page. You can also use dynamic tags if you need to do so. In some cases, it can be very useful. And then let's go and see also the connection to MailerLite. We're going to have an example where we connect the data that we are going to receive into this form directly to our MailerLite account. But the MailerLite one, we will do it later. So let's just disable it. So we will start by testing now the email and the redirect message. Great. So let's go and see how the email works. This is going to be the notification that we can receive and send to the website administrator, for example, or to the user after the form is being submitted. We can change the to mail, for example. In this case, you can use here the mail of the administrator of the website. Let's leave it like this. We can also change the subject here. You can also choose dynamic tags to be inserted here into your email subject. Let's say just a new message. In my case, it's just a simple test. And if you want, you can also personalize the way that the message is going to look. In this case, the simplest way to do so is to leave it like this, all fields. This is going just to display all the different fields of your form right inside the email message. So let's leave it like this. If you need, you can also display different fields separately by using the shortcodes that are provided in the advanced tab of the form fields. Okay, then we have the from email, which is also going to be the reply to if you want. Oh, no, sorry. The from email, you can choose the website email, for example, your website email. Okay. Then the from name, Pascal WP Rhodes, and then the reply to. This is normal. It is just a simple bug of Elementor. Don't worry. We will leave like this, and then we will set it up when we save and reload the page. We can also add some other address that can read the email or some other hidden address that can read the email message. And then here we have some metadata. We can remove the credits, which are just credits to Elementor. We do not need them right now. We can also choose what other data we need to collect or not. In this case, I will leave them all enabled so that you can see how they work. And we can choose send as an HTML file. Okay, an HTML email. Okay, so we have the redirect to the custom thank you page. And now we have also the custom email notification that we're going to receive as a website administrator. You see here, we need to collect this, set up the reply to email. So we publish and we reload the page. And when we go back now to the settings of the form, we will see that we're going to be able to select the reply to email, which is going to be, of course, the email of the person that has filled the form. In some cases, this is very important. So let's see how this is going to work. We're just going back to the email. We open up here and we select reply to your email field. This is going to be mapped immediately and automatically with the email field into the form so that we can reply directly to the person that has filled the form if we need to do so. Let's go and publish and have another test. Okay, so this is going to be the first name, last name, and so on. Okay, we'll continue. We upload the file, and this file is going to be received in the email as an attachment and also as a URL, because this is going to be also uploaded to our website server, since we selected that into our form. We also make here all the choices, we send, and we see that we're going to be redirected to the thank you page. Wow, this looks very professional and simple. Perfect. And then let's go and see what happens. In the back end, we're just going to check quickly the form submissions. We go to the Elementor submissions, and we see that we have our form submissions, and we also have the action status. If some of the actions are not performed correctly, you will see an error icon like this one. But if the actions work fine, you will see a check mark like this. In our case, the actions are the email notification that our website administrator has received, and also the collect submissions, but most of all, also the thank you page. And all those actions in this case worked correctly. Let's go and open up here. We see all the data. Perfect. That's great. And you see here the actions log, the email has been sent, and the redirection has worked successfully. Great. Let's go and see now the email notification. And as I was mentioning to you, we have all the data inside the email, which is pretty awesome. But we also have the file here. Not only we can go and click here on the file and download it from our website server, but we also have the file sent as an attachment. This is great. And then we also have the website meta, which are the date, time, page URL, user agent, and remote IP. Okay. As you can see here, this is my email. Okay, perfect. And then this is the email to reply to. If I want, I can hit reply, and this reply is going to be received directly from the person that filled the form. Now we're going to see the last part of the video. We're going to connect this form here with our MailerLite account. So we're going to select here the actions after submit. We're going to scroll until we find MailerLite. Of course, here you're just going to select the service that you're using to collect your emails. And if you do not see the service here, you can use a simple webhook to connect using Zapier or AutoKit or any other connector service like this. In this case, it's going to be MailerLite. Perfect. I'm going to see here the new field appearing, and I'm going to go to the integration settings to insert my MailerLite API key. So I scroll down here. I see that I have a MailerLite field here that I can use to insert my API key. I'm going to paste my API key and I validate it. Okay. And once I validate the key, I also need to go down here and save changes. This is very important. So remember to do so. Otherwise, it's not going to work. Okay, let's go back now to our form here and let's save and reload the page. Okay, I can scroll down to the MailerLite settings. Okay, and when I open up right here, I will see all my groups that I can select if I want to connect this form to a specific group. This is very important. So in my case, I will just link to the WP Roadies group, and then you can field map. This is very important. You can map each field to some fields that are present into your email marketing service. In my case, of course, the most important one is the email. And if I want, I'm not required to do so, but I can also map other fields. For example, the name, the last name, and so on. Let's say that I also have the phone, which is the phone number. We can also choose to allow the user to resubscribe in the case that the user is already on our mailing list or not. And in this case, I will click on publish. Of course, in this case, if you are synchronizing all your user with your email marketing platform, you have to specify it right here. And you also have to specify it into your privacy policy statement, of course. It needs to be very clear that the user is going to be synchronized with your email marketing provider, of course. Okay, now we are ready to make the test. Okay, let's see if this is going to work. We're going to see all these fields synchronized with our email marketing provider. Okay, I will use this test email like this. I will use a fake phone number like this. Let's go and see. The message is not going to be synchronized, of course. The file is not going to be synchronized because we do not need it, of course. We go next and we use the choice and the acceptance. Let's send. Now we're going to land onto the thank you page. Perfect. And even here, we have to make clear maybe that the user has been subscribed also to our newsletter. And let's go and see what happens now on MailerLite. I can see here my new subscriber, mytestemail.com, which is active. Perfect. I have the, okay, perfect. I have all the data right here. You see the email, the group, which is WP Roadies, the name, last name, the phone number, and the activity added to group WP Roadies. Perfect. It is working fine. So we created together a professional, good-looking, and effective form using Elementor Pro. I hope that this tutorial was helpful, and if this is the case, thank you in advance for your thumbs up. This is a very huge help for me and for my channel, so thank you very much. You can also comment down below, and this is also a great help because it will tell the algorithm that my channel is performing well and that you are interested in my content. So if you want, you can go down in the comment section and you can write, for example, "Hi Pascal, thank you from," and then you can type the name of your country, for example. One thing that I love the most when I'm creating tutorials is the fact that they are being watched from people from all over the world. This is awesome. Now I will leave you here with 2 other videos. You can choose the one that you prefer. And I think that you will be interested in one of these tutorials because if you liked and watched this one, you will surely enjoy one of these. I wish you all the best with your WordPress projects and I hope to see you in my next videos. Ciao, ciao!